Good morning. You can see the morning sun coming through the laundry window over there. It's March the 2nd today, so we're technically in autumn now in New Zealand, although nowadays March remains pretty warm. Looking today at an album I bought secondhand when I was visiting Japan in 2019, I believe. And that is the Cinematic Orchestra's album Every Day, which is from 2002. So Cinematic Orchestra I first discovered through illegal downloading when we used to download off Napster and things like that. I remember someone recommended that band, and I thought the name sounded cool, Cinematic Orchestra. And so I downloaded some random songs, and one of the songs I downloaded was a song called Flight. And actually, I guess I should explain what kind of music cinematic orchestra are if you don't know. They are on their Wikipedia, it says new jazz, which I didn't even know was a genre, new jazz. And new is spelled N-U, like the same way they spell new metal, which I guess new metal would give every other kind of new music a bad rap, because a lot of people don't like new metal, do they? Yeah, a lot of new metal is terrible, but there's some okay stuff. But anyway, this is what they call they class as new jazz down tempo, and I'd say new jazz is modern jazz that doesn't so closely play off traditional jazz and maybe uses more electronic elements, and I'd say that's certainly true for Cinematic Orchestra and this album. This is the Japanese edition because I bought it in Japan. I bought this in Japan from a secondhand. I don't know, actually, they might sell new music as well, but as far as I know, it's a secondhand record franchise. Oh no, franchise chain. I should say chain. I don't know if they're a franchise or not, but called Disc Union. Now, if you're a music fan or a music collector and you've ever been to Japan, you will have seen and know about Disc Union, because their stores are pretty common. You see them around a lot of places, and I guess their main base. Well, I shouldn't say I guess, because I don't actually know this, but for me, whenever I visited the place that I would usually the Disc Union shops I would look at were around Shinjuku Station, and there's about like 5 to 10 separate stores, because the way that, yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to explain things that maybe are not right. This is my assumption. Let's just say I assume this is why. They don't have one main store, because a store space, retail space in Japan works, I think, differently than it does in the West. Whereas maybe in my country, a record store, if they were, a relatively big place, they would find one large retail space and put all their things together. Whereas what Disc Union does is they split up their shops into like I said, like maybe 5 to 10. I've actually got a map somewhere in my stuff which shows all the different places around some of the stations, and they'll have like one shop which is just jazz and classical, and then another shop maybe about 100 meters down the road that's got metal and prog rock and whatever, classic rock or something like that. And some of these stores are actually quite big. They're quite pokey, as in, like, one of them I remember was about 6 levels high, but each level was not particularly big, and very crowded. Everything's packed in there. When it gets busy with people, you're really kind of having to maneuver around people looking at different things in it. But my point is, it's a secondhand music store, and they sell CDs and vinyl, a lot of CDs, and you find some really great stuff there. And it's well known that you go to Japan, you can find, because physical music is still collected and bought there at a relatively high level, especially compared to the West. And there are lots of reasons for that, cultural and social and technological. But you can find things, and for a relatively decent price as well. You're not paying through the nose. Of course, it's up if it's some super rare pressing, you will be. But I mean, if you're just like me, looking for things that in your wheelhouse from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 90s, I guess mainly, you find things that are harder to find back home, but at a decent price. I think this was around 500 yen, which is about in New Zealand dollars is about. Actually, I haven't looked at exchange rates recently, and I know the yen is weaker than it was, but $5-ish, $5-6, and in American dollars, I guess that's what, $3, $2-3, I think. Yeah. No, it's the other way. No, yeah, I'm right. Okay, I haven't talked about anything here, but this album is pretty good. I like it, especially like I said that song "Flight." But I think every song is pretty good. You see here they've got the Japanese liner notes, which is written information, I guess the same as what is the English. Some of the lyrics, if some of the songs feature lyrics, some don't, some are instrumental, written out in kanji and hiragana and katakana. Written by Satoshi Kurihara. So maybe he has something to do with them. Now these guys come out on Ninja Tunes. Ninja Tunes is a record label that there are certain record labels that when I'm looking, if I see something by the record label or released by them, I'll buy it regardless if I know anything about the music or not. And Ninja Tune is one of those labels. I guess Warp is the other one, a British electronic label. If I see anything by Warp, Ninja Tune, there are a few other ones that I can't think off the top of my head, I will buy it even if I know nothing about the artist or the compilation that it's part of or whatever, because they have a pretty good track record of releasing interesting music. The songs that I like on this, I like all the songs, but the songs that I particularly like to Burnout, which has got a vocal on it, Flight, which is sounds very jazzy. It starts off with these kind of bell chimes. I think I've seen a live version and they're using almost like a kind of what's that thing Lionel Hampton used to play? Not a xylophone. Like a xylophone. It's kind of like a long, of the metal bars that have different tunings, and when you hit it, it's like kind of boom, and it's there's a name. I know the name. I can't think. Lionel Hampton, the famous jazz musician, played one. Anyway, the song starts with that, and then the drums start, and the drums are what make that song for me. The drums are amazing. The way he plays like ghost notes, which I guess is for a jazz drummer, maybe that's nothing, but it's just awesome. The way it kind of like, I'm gonna say swings, maybe that's not the right word, but the way it moves the song, the drums keep the song moving along and kind of swishing from side to side. And when I first heard that song, I remember after YouTube came out, and this would have been like 2007, like early days of YouTube, I used to look for videos, and people used to they still do, they make their own videos for songs, especially if the song doesn't already have a video. And someone made a video for that song Flight. I think it's still on YouTube now. And it's just they put random stock footage and maybe other footage from specific things together. And it's awesome the way they do it. And there's one particular part, I say this part of the story, is that in that song, there's if you ever watch it, there's a part where there's someone filming going up an outdoor escalator. It's an escalator that goes up past buildings and trees. So it's usually we think of escalators inside, like inside shopping malls or department stores or whatever else. Sometimes they can be partly outside, but to see them completely outside is unusual. But this was like seeing it was like an escalator going up a mountain almost, but in the city, and I was like always intrigued by that. I didn't like research about it or anything, but I just when I saw it, I thought that's cool. And then when I thought about it, then 2013, I was in Hong Kong and I was exploring Hong Kong. And there's an area of Hong Kong on Hong Kong Island called Midlevels. And I think I was just there by chance. I was just walking around looking at different parts of the city. And then I found myself on this escalator, on that exact escalator from that video. It's in Hong Kong, in Midlevels area of Hong Kong Island. And it goes up, if you've been to Hong Kong, as you go up in the Hong Kong Island, out kind of towards the middle of the island, there's mountains or hills behind it. Mount Victoria, I think, is the famous one, or the Peak, which you can get a tram car up there. But there are, some of the wealthier areas of the city are built up on the hills behind the coastline of the island, down by whatever that area is called, One Child. And the elevator, the escalator takes you up the hill, and you can get off and go to different neighborhoods and markets and shops and apartment buildings that are, it's like, imagine you've got an escalator going through your neighborhood, and you use it as a mode of transport. It's really cool. I guess for people in Hong Kong, it's just normal, but just to find it randomly after all those years of thinking about it, and then I was on it. I couldn't believe it. It was like, when you think that's a pretty cool life story. Anyway, Evolution, that's a cool song. It says it's got Fontella bass. She sings the vocal. All Things to All Men, that's a cool song as well. That kind of doesn't fit together with the other sounds of the album. That's got Roots Manuva, who was a British rapper who was famous in the mid-2000s. Witness the Fitness was the song that I remember from him. He did a funny video of that where he turned up to his old school at athletics day and won all the prizes. Well, he raps that song. It sounds like he's kind of talking about his own life. It's got a long intro. And then it kind of, he does his vocal part where it sounds like he's talking about some kind of story from when he was young in his life. Some girl dies or something. It's quite an affecting affecting lyric. And then it goes into like this piano and harp, long outro of piano and harp together with the drums. Now on the normal release, the non-Japanese release, the Japanese release has Oregon and Semblance as the Japanese bonus tracks. On the non-Japanese release, they have Oregon and Horizon. And Horizon is a much better song than Semblance. I'm kind of bummed that I don't have Horizon on CD. So if I ever come across another non-Japanese version, I'll probably buy it. Horizon's got a vocal by Niara Scarlett. And it's really, I think, a really positive sounding song. I recommend listening to that song. So like I said, for me, the drummer is an amazing drummer. His name's Luke Flowers. And you can see some of his work on YouTube. I see some live videos by him. But yeah, just quite a long ramble there, wasn't it? To talk about Cinematic Orchestra every day. I would give this CD a clear 9 out of 10. And what did I say? What's my scale? I can't remember what I say. 9 means a great album. 10 is perfect. 9 is classical great. And I think this is a classical great album. It's I've listened to bits and pieces of other releases by Cinematic Orchestra, and they've got some good stuff. But for me, this is their best work. Their most what would you say? Most solid from end to end. In saying that, their other stuff got really good reviews. It's not like anyone feels they dropped off or anything like that. So Their most recent album, To Believe, I haven't listened to that. That was released in 2019, so they had quite a long gap between their previous album and that. So it's on my list of things that I eventually I'll get around to listening to. But yeah, if you are collecting music in any way, vinyl, CD, maybe even tape, cassette, Japan really is the place to go. You can find some amazing things there, and just being able to find, they're not shops that are tucked away so often here in my country, and I think it's relatively true in other countries. When you want to go looking for music, the all the actual music stores, CD, vinyl stores, are never in particularly easy places to find. They're always like, because they're not huge money making ventures, their retail space is often down side streets or outside of the main commercial areas, or but these places in Japan are all like, right next to the stations. Like if you travel in Japan, you know that everything is based around train stations, but yeah, I can't wait to go back one day and buy more. When I was traveling there, I traveled there. Like I said, the last time was 2019. I lived there for a while as well, a lot longer before that. But when I last traveled there, I only had very small luggage with me. I try to travel very lightly, like just like a backpack basically, and wash my clothes continuously as I go. So I didn't have a lot of room to pack purchases, and I I bought as many CDs as I could. But next time I go back, I'll keep in mind that I wanna leave room to be buying more things that I need. All right, thank you very much for watching. Recommend this album highly. Cinematic Orchestra every day. Bye.